Pudding's ready.
Pudding's he's the co-presenter today. Right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
You're Dan Watson.
And you're Paul Sloggett.
Yeah, and this is the Dare. This episode's to celebrate all the females in the UK mountainboarding community. Riders, committee members, event staff, hill dwellers in all weathers. Welcome to the females of mountainboarding, and good luck, Dan. Thoughts and prayers.
Good luck. You say it like I'm hosting the shit. This is your ship, my friend. You're sailing. You're at the helm.
We're sinking fast. Ladies, come
Ladies,
on in.
present yourselves. Boom. Oh!
Afternoon.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It's like marks to the bank.
That's
Anyway,
one,
lads,
two,
have a proper
three, four,
podcast,
five,
yeah.
six. Did you all didn't know to do that, did you?
Do what?
Yeah,
Is there
a you've had us.
Really well.
That's incredible.
Have
fun.
You're gone, lads. Ladies' night. I'm full of estrogen. I'm ready to roll.
Oh, can we explain what happened for the audio listeners out there?
Yeah. This
It wasn't us.
this could be a little bit crazy.
It was Eamon.
This is the most people we've had in on one go on the dirt. So welcome to you all. There are a couple of people on here that have made little appearances over the course of time. That some people you may recognise if you're watching on YouTube. Some people you may not. But all of these ladies have one thing in common. They're all heavily involved in mountainboarding in one way or another, whether you see them racing on the hill or whether you might see them behind, as Slog says, behind the desks or in various supporting roles, decorating and graffitiing stuff there. Jonesy, I'm looking at you and very much enjoyed that at last year's event. And Di joins us from ATB shop. You may well have seen her recently involved with the Dirt Live stuff. Lee and Ayla there, and Claire as well, heavily involved in the ATBA.
Frantic wave going on. This is my thing.
Yeah. And Laura, thank you for joining us. James's other half, better half, and
Much
Sarah
better
Bish's
half, I will add.
better half there. Now, as Slog says, this is a bit of an ode to the ladies of mountainboarding. We do feature obviously lots of champions and people throughout the mountainboard scene that are, fairly well known throughout the scene, but some of you ladies, as we said, might not be. But that doesn't mean that you aren't deserved. Well deserved, overdue sometimes, potentially some thanks, some praise, some worship for what you ladies do for mountainboarding, your partners, and everything else that goes along with it. So on behalf of all of mountainboarding's male population who are out there with partners there, thank you for your support. Thank you for helping us do what we do. You won't know my wife. Been on the side wheel in all weathers is not her bag, baby, but she supports me from afar by enabling me to do this of a night time, to be able to go riding with nuggets like you lot are all married to, and partners too. So an ode to Lorna. If you do end up listening, Lorna, I doubt it, but thank you very much.
Much love, Lorna. Right, so what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and go through all of you. I don't know how you're looking on everyone else's screen, but we're going to give it we're just going to give you a bit of airtime to say who you are and what you do to help mountainboarding, because you all do a lot.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the order because it's recording on my screen, and then it'll come out a little bit better for the viewers at home if you're watching on YouTube. And unfortunately, the first person has just fucked off out the screen. Oh, yes.
No, back in. You didn't need to go upstairs. You needed to go with Sloggs.
Oh, look, I'll look forward to seeing his bumhole in a minute then.
You know it's coming.
Oh, is it that time already, Dan?
Now, so Claire, you are first up in the top right on the screen as I'm recording it. May well get flipped, so apologies if that does happen. But yeah, Claire, you are unfortunately married to Sloggs. You share the same surname, unless you're sister and brother, and I know that's like a Plymouth Devon thing that you
It's
guys
a Cornish
do there.
thing, and I'm not Cornish, so he's all right.
So yeah, you're single-handedly expanding the gene pool of Cornwall.
Done in one swoop.
That's it. So what do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do?
What do I do? Other than show up at a comp and sit in a field, take it all in, and love life. That's kind of it. Although I've expanded recently and kind of helped with the ATBA, helped with the EBIT last year, because I thought it would save me getting so drunk so early doors.
Did that help?
It did help.
It did.
Massively. Did help. But yeah, I'm just come along, show support for Sloggs, meet the family, the Mountainboard family as we call it, and love life. Literally, it's a community that's very, very special. And I've learned that in the past few years that we've been back in the fold. I love it.
Nice. Well, you're welcome in the fold, Claire. You've been an absolute joy.
Thanks, yeah.
Off to a great
so-
start. Well done, love.
Next up, the good lady Di. Crikey, you've been around a few years, haven't you?
Whoa, ageism.
Straight in.
I was going to introduce myself as like the OG of mountainboarding, but you just like literally shots fired right there. Old lady of mountainboarding. I'm like, thanks.
No, I didn't say that at all. I just said you've been around a few years.
Can you pass me my walking stick? I need to have it. Yeah, I like to think I was going to say I've been around the block a little bit, but that even sounds really, really bad. Like, I just want to hit off what you guys were just saying. Mountainboarders, we're for life. We're like lifelong friends. I still hang around with people like Anthony Wilson, that was like one of the first people to help set up the ATBA. I still keep in regular contact with the No Snow boys like Dave and Pete. Pete's always like floating around with Stuart doing EBIT stuff. I have literally seen every single weather condition in mountainboarding that you ever thought possible. I feel really lucky to have won a downhill title, downhill ladies champion. Woo woo! Yeah. So thank you, everyone, my little mini fans out there. No, it's been really, really good, and I love mountainboarding. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've laughed, I've cried, and I've wanted to murder people, but at the end of the day, you know, it's just one fantastic sport, and I feel very lucky to have been a part of it. So that's me.
What year, Di, did you win your championship?
I want to say it was either 2003 or 2004. Let's just say I'm retired. I don't want to go from hero to zero. Do you know what I mean? I think these girls could totally take me now. The girls were amazing when I was riding, but I mean, like, you guys are fearless now. These girls are something else. So I would like to get back on a board and give it a go, but I feel like the hills are definitely a lot steeper than they were when I was young. And the ground's definitely harder.
Definitely.
It has to be said, like, where you say like you want to murder some people at some point, that's exactly what a family is, isn't it? You laugh, you cry, you murder, and that's just like your siblings, isn't it?
100%. Sometimes you ask people to do stuff and you think it's done and it's not done. And the ATBA is mostly volunteers. Do you know what I mean? So you can't expect like high professionality. You know, it's people turning up and giving up their time for a sport that they love. So sometimes things don't go always according to plan, or the software will fail just before a race, and then you're running around trying to, yeah, Stuart's like, not me, you know, manually do it and everything, and it puts stress level through the pace. And you guys will know what it's like running an event. Everyone thinks it's all seamlessly and everything, but there are little things going on in the background that might be falling apart that we've got to reassemble. And
oh, you are leading us gloriously onto the next. I was about to say contestant then. It feels a bit like a game show here with all these faces on the screen. So the next lady would be, I very nearly introduced you in a way that would have caused much uproar in this conversation, but I didn't there. Lee, join the conversation here there.
I want to know. What were you going to say?
I swore to myself I am not getting involved in this episode. We are not talking about any numbers involved with any ladies here.
Oh, okay, I'm with you.
But yeah, other half to Matt Brind.
Better half, as they all are, by the way. and that was offence meant to all the gents.
But yeah, you have been a joy to see on the hill, it has to be said, despite the moments of stress that Di's talked about there briefly, and I'm sure we will return to it at some point in this conversation. But it has to be said, you always do it with a smile, from just a punter's point of view. Whenever I've had any interactions with any of the events crew, especially you ladies, it's always with smiles from where I'm standing, and I thank you for that. And Lee, you're a massive part of that. The smile at the bottom of the hill there is there for every rider that comes down, and that's we thank you for that. But yeah, tell us a little bit how long you've been involved and your involvement with the ATBA and mountain boarding. How did this all start for you?
Oh, that's many moons. So
were you before mountain boarding for Matt, or after mountain? Because you've been with Matt a long time, haven't you?
Not that long. Matt started when he was 14.
Oh, cracker! Well, I thought you were young loves.
Oh, we are, but not quite that young. So what, we have been together 12 years. We got together when we were both 19. Matt was just about to turn 20. My first comp was the Edge. It was the only time I ever went to the Edge. So me and Matt had been together about 6 months-ish at that time. Yep. So that would have been summer of 2011. That was my first comp. So drove there with just me and Andy. That was lovely and awkward. 3 hours in a car with your new boyfriend's brother. That was a very quiet journey. Yeah, that was really good comp, but that was my first exposure. But that was just me attending as Matt's girlfriend, see what it was all about. And then very quickly, just out of, do you need a hand? Got roped in, and then the next minute I was like, oh crumbs, I'm well into this now, aren't I? There's no getting out now. Like, where's the exit? Quick. Yeah, and then ever since then, so it'll be 11 and a half years of coming to the events. The only place I haven't been is out to grass, which I was really gutted. That was the one event that when it was still running, the event weekends I couldn't attend, and then sadly closed down, and that's the only place I didn't get a chance to go to.
Oh, that is unfortunate. It really was a paradise.
Yeah, I've heard it was Matt and Andy's one of their favourite centres. Andy always raved about the border cross track. So it was a shame to miss it, but yeah. So now seems like I'm an integral cog of the A2BA sisters. So yeah, she said try to keep a smile on, although the amount of times I'm like, like, no, you can't have that race number. Just settle for what I give you.
If you hadn't put a capital letter at the start of every word on your application form to race, then I would have let you have that number. But no.
If I had £1 for every time you say, especially for a new rider, they're like, okay, so if you just like pick your number, it's 69 available. Like I haven't heard that one before.
I wonder who has 69.
Probably Sonny Dibben.
Probably.
No.
Probably.
Yes, it is Raf.
Yeah, Raf's 69.
Is it?
Yes, I was thinking. I know someone got it.
I've got James shouting from the other. Yeah, it is.
I was about to shout down.
Yeah, no.
I went back in the days of 0800 reverse. It was around the time that 118 started as well, and I remember being a bit of a thing for trying to get the 118 number. When that, bizarrely,
won't have 118 now. We don't
have that many numbers.
Over 1,000 is for international riders, but I don't know if we've got. No.
God, wouldn't it be nice if, well, not for the events team, but for the world at large, wouldn't it be nice if we got over 1,000 at a meet?
Dan, careful what you wish for, love.
Yeah, it might have to change a little bit there. There would definitely need some work for here. Next on the screen is Laura. Laura there. Oh no, don't be nervous. You're all good. You are partner of James Wanklin and mother of many children. Congratulations! You seem to have a ever expanding family.
Oh no, it's stopped now.
It's stopped now, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on.
More expanding.
It was kind of like the Whartons, you know. The big Mountainboard family is good. We've started to see some of them even out on track recently.
Yeah, so Toby went to the pump track for the first time last weekend on his bike. So a bit awkward for James.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start.
Yeah, apparently he said to James, Daddy likes mountain boards, Toby likes bikes and scooters. So I think it's disowned now.
It won't take long.
No.
My son was on a scooter for ages, and then he's had a little dabble on mountain boards. He's 11 now, but he's really into mountain biking.
Now, love.
Oh, he's 12. He was 12 on Thursday. Yeah, good love. Love you, Baxter. But because he's on his mountain bike now, like we've convinced him to come up to bikes with us because we've showed him the Sam Pilgrim YouTube and all that. So it's one step at a time, Laura.
Yeah. Well, he's only 3, so he's got a bit of time.
That's no excuse.
He has got a mountain board. They found a little what is it? Hot Wheels something or other.
Oh yeah.
It's still obviously too big for him, but it's in the cupboard waiting.
And again, another long termer there. You've been with James for many years there. How old were you when you first found mountainboarding with James? Were you pre-mountainboarding or post?
No. So I came along. This was before we started being official, but yeah, I came along to see what it was all about. That was 12 years ago, maybe. Yeah, just over 12 years ago. Yeah. And
Nice.
Just supporter. I didn't get involved in any of the organisation, but I used to come to everything and I'd be at everything. But yeah, since having the kids, I look after them so he can go and do his thing.
To be fair, James does get a lot of riding time in as well.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
Here we go.
He sneaks in a European event every year, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he left. I said I wasn't going to say it, but he left me with a 2-year-old and a newborn so we could go to Poland.
with the boys.
Yeah.
You are
yeah.
digging him such a hole right now, Sloggs.
Yeah, I did. Can we just? I didn't start this conversation. I didn't bring it up.
And that was the event where he smashed his face as well, and he come back all messed up.
No,
That was Serbia.
No, I was.
No,
No, that was Serbia. No, he's shouting at me from the other room. Oh yeah, where he smashed his face. That was Serbia. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, he's been on so many. I can't even.
They all merge into one.
Yeah.
Mind you,
I think it was Poland who came back very broken, and I'm sure I was very pregnant as well. But yeah, whatever, it's fine.
to be fair, I mean, I know how annoying I can be, and I certainly know how annoying Sloggs can be. So sometimes having the boys go away for a bit might well give a bit of peace and quiet. So it's a double-edged sword. Having him around, not having him around, both have possible.
In this house.
Next up on the screen there is the lovely. I'm gonna introduce you as.
Let me introduce her. I just want to introduce my favourite Watson in the Mountainboard community, Sarah Watson. Hello there.
All right, lads.
How are you, sis?
I'm good. I almost changed it on there to Watson.
Well,
yeah, no, all good here. Thank you.
Been on the dirt before on an episode.
Yeah.
Fresh Blood, I
Fresh
think
Blood.
it was titled.
No longer fresh blood now. Deeply entrenched in the Mountainboard community, I'd say.
I mean, amongst this lot, I think it's still quite fresh. It still feel quite new.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
I can't remember how much. I think we done your origin story on that episode, didn't we? So we won't stall too long. But suffice to say, just a heads up here, you got a hell of a question coming your way. Ayla! Ayla, the lovely Ayla, my favourite lady, my favourite tech lady who helps me out of all sorts of graphical binds.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
No problem.
I very nearly introduced you again in that same manner there, but we can't. Heavily involved in the ATBA.
Absolutely looking for fights, Danny's tonight.
Oh, it's all right. I fancy my chances. I reckon I could take Ayla. Whereas James Wanklin is coming for you, my old mucker.
You can take him, don't worry about that.
You've now been heavily involved in the ATBA for a number of years. Another smiling face at the bottom of the hill or at the top of the hill or halfway up the hill, sorting us out, keeping us all in check, making sure we are where we want to be. And again,
not want to be, need to be, Dad.
Yeah. And tirelessly working behind the scenes as well, same as Lee. I mean, we're not going to show behind the wizard's curtain, but there's loads of stuff happening, and you ladies and Claire, they're all integral to that. But yeah, how long have you been involved with mountainboarding?
So Eamon and I have been together just over 6 years now. So I think, it's 6 years. I went to my first mountainboard event. I can't remember what it was. It might have been going to Bugs. We used to go to the what are the cross things called at the pump tracks?
Rhythm Cross.
Yes, we used to go to the Rhythm Cross a few times when that was kicking around. Because we were up at Uni in Carlisle, so they were a bit more up north. So we used to go to those. And then went to Hales, and then just after COVID is when I started getting involved with EBIT, and that was like my first dip into organising. I love organising and being organised, so that was like a good segue. And now, like, I'm going to the Worlds, and Matt's got some big ideas for where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing, and I'm a bit like, oh gosh, there's going to be like many languages going on. It's fine, I'm fine.
Oh man, you smash everything you do out of the park, Ayla. You really do. So, fear not, fear not.
So, can I just get involved a sec with Ayla? I just want to picture an idea I've been running through my head about. Do you fancy co-hosting a podcast with me? About growing your own veg. We'll call it The Dare.
That would be great. I reckon we could bump another one off that's called The Dare. I don't know what it's about, but I reckon we'd be better.
You'll probably get a far bigger following, far quicker. As long as you don't call it the manure. And talking of manure, have you still got it in your car?
Yes, now it's dark. So it's gonna have to stay in there all night, and I'll have to move it in the morning. But it's fine.
I did think, why are you bringing manure to your garden when you've got a horse that lives in the garden? Can you not train him to shit on your veg?
That would be good. I did sort of scrape some in, but it's not quite enough for what I'm after.
He's probably not very. He's not very big, is he? He doesn't produce a lot.
He's tiny. He's a miniature pony. So yeah.
I reckon they start. I don't think they do miniature poos though, do they? Anyhow, this ain't the role situation. We don't go on with toilet humour here much. But we're going to move on because we're crikey. We're already almost half an hour in. Pardon?
You need to introduce Sarah.
I know. When I said, oh bloody hell! It's like, yeah. I thought we'd have had Matt Brind in here by now already.
I'm just making sure all my sisters are involved.
Crikey, it'd be, I wouldn't live to see the next competition if I bloody missed any of yous out, would I?
Exactly, Dan.
Sarah, lovely Sarah. Jonesy in the business. Now, you have also been involved in mountainboarding for quite a while. We've only met really in the last couple of years, haven't we? But it's fair to say, Hales local at times.
Yeah, I was. That kind of like came through meeting someone through mountainboarding, actually. Obviously Nasha, who was there before. Because he was Mr. UK mountainboarding, and I'd started mountainboarding with G-Lad. Just because it looked funny. I had one in the corner of his room, and I was like, excuse me, can we go play on this? And then basically he took a video of us mountainboarding, put it on Instagram. Then Mr. UK mountainboarding went and found me somehow through a tag. And then we just started chatting through that. And then obviously he was one of the directors on the latter incarnation of Heart Hill, Hales. So yeah, just like that association kind of like got me in there, which was quite nice. Just before COVID, hill to go down, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, one of the more active online sort of lady riders, which is always good to see your positivity and motivation to ride, whether it be on skate or mountain board. I don't like it makes me sad when obviously you hurt yourself. You hit your head the other day, didn't you?
Hit my head, gave myself whiplash and a bit of heat stroke when it was snowing. Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Just stay upright and just shred. Let's
make an omelette, break a few eggs.
Well, yeah, thank you, ladies. I think I'm safe to move on there. I've covered all on the screen here now. We may see other people join here, but contrary to our normal running order, where I would run through the history of the rider involved as such, and at various points put in viewers' questions. We haven't got any viewers' questions as such, but we do have some partners' questions. So I don't know if they've savvied you up to any or what they've sent in and stuff like that. So we're going to go round. Again, I think we'll try and stick to this same order.
Oh, no.
And there are some more specific than others. So if it's specific, I will I will put that to that person. So the first question comes in from, and the order is correct. This one comes in from a well-known viewer there, and we'll put you up. Let me check you're up full volume.
Hi Dan, hi Sloggs. I've got a question for my lovely wife. What is your most memorable mountain boarding experience? Love you.
Oh.
There you go. Now I think we could. I need to. I doubt myself in case that's come up in any of the other questions that have been sent in. There may be some that are similar but worded separately, so we'll go with that. But yeah, that memorable experience I think could be passed on to all of them, couldn't they, Sloggs?
Yeah, it was a very open question to them all. I don't know, handsome fella, that dude on that video, wasn't he?
Yeah, oh,
He
yeah.
was gutless, wasn't he? Right. I can't, on a mountain boarding front, I'm going to scale it back. I've got, in our relationship, we just got this house, and Sloggs was skateboarding still at the time. And to me, the most memorable thing, Claire, can we go and skate at Bobby Tracy? I was like, yeah, okay. Driving up to IKEA and got up to Bobby Tracy. He just wanted to do this rainbow rail. And a lot of you would have seen the after effect. He went in first run, smashed his ribs, and you can literally see his ribs popping because I was so good at taking photos at that time. And it wasn't mountain boarding, but it's still like a horrific thing to kind of remember. We still went to IKEA though, but I didn't have hot dogs and I didn't have meatballs. So
because we went to the hospital instead.
Because we went to the hospital instead, yeah.
I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't play with all the kids' toys at the hospital like when I took him to the hospital.
It's like competition, Dan, is it?
Although actually, because
I bet you I did more gas and air than you did on that visit.
he had to give a piss sample because they thought he'd fractured his spleen, and I had to take him to the toilets to give this wee sample. And because I was too busy laughing at him, took him into the toilet and I'm too busy laughing. And of course, when you've got broken ribs, you can't laugh, can you? It sounded like we were having sex in the toilets. It was the worst. Because we weren't having sex, but he had to deal with that. And we weren't having sex.
That's a really nice story. I'm really glad you brought that up, love.
That wasn't the question you wanted, was it? That wasn't the answer you wanted.
No. I was thinking, she's definitely going for, her fancy dress party at the last champs.
That was banging as well, though, love. Because that was inclusion. And that everyone included me into that. And I had a great night. So that was a good one. But I went away from the...
That was absolutely cracking night, to be fair, that fancy dress night. Di, you must have many memories over the years of being involved. What was is there any standout ones for you?
There's a couple. I mean, like, obviously winning the Downhills Ladies Championship is like on par. I mean, I threw up so much before that last race because Natalie Reynolds is an awesome rider, and it was either going to be her that was going to win or me. Like, she'd won 2 events, I'd won 2. The 5th one at Court Farm was the decider. And have you all ridden Court Farm or seen Court Farm? It's like that, right? You've seen it.
Yeah, it's no joke.
It's hardcore, that track. And I was trying to convince all the girls to go from halfway down where they were sending the under 14s. And these girls that I was racing against, they're hardcore. They were like, no, we're going from the top. We're going like the boys. And I was like, oh my actual God, we're going to die. And basically, none of the girls could ride it clean from the top. Like, and it was a really dry, dusty day. And I was like, I just wanted to get to the bottom and not die, basically. And Tim Jones, who does a lot of photography and videography and stuff, ATV Shop team member, he basically pulled me to one side as it was the finals and said to me, right, Di, everyone is going to fall over on this corner here. What you need to do is fall over before that corner because it's like a burn, it's like a dip. So you're going to fall over, they're going to be scrambling out, and then you're going to just, you know, go round them. You just need to beat Natalie to win overall. Even if you come second, you know, third is fine. You just need to beat Natalie. And honestly, I felt so sick. So I had to stand there in the launch gates and I had to let them all go. And yeah, Tim was right. All the girls kind of skid out because it was so slippy. The boys had been doing it all day. It wasn't even a girl thing. And I had to stop above them, and I can still see like Sasha getting up, and she was, you know, when you fall over and you've got to get back up like a hill and you're having to hop, they were all doing that, like Nikki Forecast. And yeah, I just managed to kind of get enough momentum, just literally pipped Natalie. It was neck and neck. And like, I did win and I felt amazing. And I've been watching everyone all day. I don't know if you know Court Farm. They've got that, like, you know, ramp, and it goes straight into the river, and everyone's been backflipping. And I was like, I felt so empowered that I needed to go off my mountain board on it. But I checked it out. I thought I'll just run off it to celebrate. That'll be my, like, yeah, because I'm all sweaty and muddy and dusty and everything. What I hadn't realized is it's actually a really big gap between the ramp and the water. So like, I was running just like, oh my God, I won. This has been months in the coming. And as I took off, I was like, wow, am I going to clear that? I did, but I landed in a lot of stinging nettles into the water. So that was my celebration. But it felt so good. Like, that'll be something that'll stay with me forever.
That's a heavyweight final as well. There's some big names from the past in that race.
Those girls are like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, the girls riding now are hardcore, but my hat is off. Like Nikki Forecast as well. She used to, her freestyle, I remember her smashing her face up and it didn't phase her. She got back up there again and started, you know, doing freestyle. She really pioneered for the girls doing freestyle. Sasha as well, she was really great at riding. Natalie Reynolds, though, she was a tough one to beat, and believe me, I didn't think I could do it. So, you know, my hat will always be off to Natalie because she's a few years older than me, but my God, she had me on my toes. She's a hell of a rider.
She really is. Yeah, good shout. Lee, could you have a standout memory?
Oh no.
Good,
I hate this. I feel like it's like a job interview and they put you on the spot and you can't think of any answers. Oh God. Whether there's so many memories that I literally can't pick, or there's nothing actually.
Matt will be sitting there silently screaming one of his previous victories. I can't believe you didn't say.
No, one thing that did come to mind was one of his, and I was like, no, I can't him. Like, no.
Lee, tell us it was Andy Brin's double backflip, please.
The champ last year. It was the time. It was the time Sonny Dibben beat him at the border cross last year.
Wasn't that in France?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I wasn't there, unfortunately, but yeah, I've seen the video, I heard the stories.
I had to watch the video of that 100 times because Matt's analysing how to never let it ever happen again.
We get that a lot here. Again.
Laura, have you got an outstanding memory? Because you've been on a few trips away, haven't you, with mountain boarders, a few internationals there?
Yeah, I was going to say our first one to Serbia, I think 2012. I think a few of them got invited out, but only James could go, and we only had a couple of weeks, so we were getting his passport sorted and all that, and we had no idea. We'd never met anyone before, and we turn up to the airport. Mark says, "Oh yeah, we'll pick you up from the airport." So I snooped his Facebook. I knew what he looked like, and then so we get to the airport in Serbia, and some man comes up to us. "You James?" And we're like, "Yeah." Honestly, and James is whispering to me, "Is that him? Is that him?" And I'm going, "No." And like, us idiots, we just get in the car with him. He's on his phone. He's on his phone talking in Serbian, and we're in this car for an hour. And yeah, we have no idea. It's dark. We don't know where we are, where we're going. And then we turn up to this hostel. Mark's there. That's him. That's the guy that I've stalked on Facebook. And yeah, we turn up, and there's a table of the German guys. Now we know Frida and that. He goes, "Oh, we heard some Brits were coming." We were like, "Okay." And so yeah, we just had it was only a long weekend, but it was the riding, whatever, but meeting everybody for the first time, the party and all that. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, I dare say there are so many stories of Serbia that thankfully you probably haven't had to be there for some of them, I should imagine, quite thankfully.
A good story of Matt from Serbia, isn't there, Lee?
There are a number of good...
That was the year that I wasn't there. I was wondering.
Don't be shy. Share the story.
I think the story has already been shared, has it not?
It probably has been said.
Yeah, I think it ran for a little while because there was well, I think that was actually the start of what I refer to, looking back to now, as the pissing period. The Dirt podcast seemed to have every episode would evolve around various pissing stories. We don't have to do that one tonight.
Yeah, and I think we blame Dave Compton for that.
Yeah. Oh, I hope his parents not listening, because you've just dropped him right in it.
Yeah,
they're one of our subscribers, you know. DC, I saw DC 2 days ago down here walking the Southwest Coastal Path. So nice to see him. Shout out to you.
He was incredible.
Sorry, yeah, he was. Yeah,
nice.
Last minute, very last minute.
Yeah, he messaged us, love. Well, he messaged me, but like I think it was this weekend, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah. You had the kids.
It was this weekend, but we had the kids, love.
Okay.
I don't tell you if it's not going to happen. I won't tell you. Just don't get you too excited to see DC.
Sloggy, do you want to come down here because it's echoing? I can't hear it.
Sarah. Oh, it's all changed. It's all changed. Oh my goodness.
It's all changed. It's coming down with me.
We've changed order here now, haven't we? Sarah Watson, I'm going to go with there. Have you had a memorable moment of late?
I mean, there's been a lot of memorable moments with Mark Bishop. Every single time you can get him to do something stupid is a memorable moment.
Do you play that to your advantage?
Yes, of course I do. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the first big one that stands out is coming to Bugs for the first time, which was actually EBIT, and realizing that there was a centre that would accommodate all of these idiots, and what a heavenly place that was. And obviously I think we were there another couple of times before the season ended that first year, and then just coming back. I think the memorable moment is coming to the centre, meeting the community, and being welcomed. Like it's never going to get any better than that.
Nice.
No matter how many times I managed to get Mark to hurt himself, the community wins.
Take it to the resi, sir.
So, Ayla, what's
Yes.
your most memorable moment?
I think it will have to be the French trip last year. You mentioned it earlier. A few people were there. Sarah, you were there. Actually, I think
Was that Eamon's birthday, that one?
No, it's the one before. So in the
The one
summer when we
before
went.
that.
Yeah.
Because there was two last year, wasn't there?
Yeah, we did the birthday one and then the summer one. We had a bit more time and it was it was heavily centered around mountainboarding, obviously. But we did have like a one day on a one morning at the beach, which was like our non-mountainboarding morning, playing in the sea. But it was just good to like hang out with everybody, get to know people more, just meeting some mountainboarders outside of the country as well. And I'm just super excited to do it again this year.
Yeah.
I've booked the whole 2 weeks off. Like I've got the whole time off. Yeah, it's going to be sick.
It's going to be epic this year. Big invasion happening this year. Jonesy, we're back with you again.
Yeah.
Last but never least, what's your most memorable standout moment for whatever reason?
Well, for me, other than the first time of doing it, because that was what got me hooked, I might have had a long time to think about this, but it was really easy to come to. It was actually the last comp at Hart Hill, because it was just epic. That was the first time, because obviously everyone had come out of lockdown. I hadn't really met anyone or the scene or anything other than the few that I'd managed to fortunately meet through bubbling up in lockdown, and just meeting everyone and seeing the excitement of the comp and everyone coming together and all of like the community aspect of it. Because I mean, like when you're mountainboarding, you get your endorphins, you'll get like dopamine from it. I mean, like everyone has a bevy together. There's so many things that make it this like really bonded scene. And when you do something that's like quite risky with somebody, you actually get a bond from that. I can't remember if it's like oxytocin or like the endorphins or something, but like there's just this basically sorry to put it a man word on it, but there's this massive bromance around mountainboarding that's like, and everyone supports everybody, and that's how I think like reality should work. So just to see that within a community, I was just like, love this straight off. And it was like all of that with, obviously there was like, were you there on the Saturday night? Like there was like got my mates in from Liverpool, fat sound system, along with like decent tunes, decent people, and I accidentally won something as well. So like all I did, I like basically like fell down the hill, just went, do I really have to fucking finish this? And then came out with a medal. It's like, yeah, cool. I like somehow champion, but no, Lisa Mack fucking won that all day. But she went over to like the because I hurt myself, couldn't carry on. She went over to the like open class and she fucking came third. She's great. She's brilliant. Smashes it. So
Sarah, the first time I met all you guys was at Hart Hill. Like literally all of you were at Hart Hill. And watching you compete on that first one against Lisa, you stacked it and I loved it. But you fucking did it, love. And you literally did it. And I was so like, because that like Hart Hill was my first time into the community because we'd been like Paul had been away for so long. Watching you just do it, I was just so like, I loved it. I proper loved it.
I'd only ridden it once before as well. Like, all right, let's do this. Fine.
But you did it more than me.
Seen you on board though.
That's it. Everybody in here has been on board, so but I'm sure we'll have a question on that in a little while. We are gonna. I got another one. I'm gonna stick with you, Jonesy. I'm sticking with you, Jonesy, here, and I'm sticking with Jonesy because obviously there's two Sarahs here. If that's okay with you, and that comes in from Mr. UK Mountainboarding. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if he knows how podcasting works, but obviously I have to introduce you ladies. And obviously the first natural question that is in this every episode is how long have you been riding and been involved for? So I'm sorry, Nash, we've already done that one, but it is there's a second part to it, and that is what keeps you into it. So I'm assuming that as you've just said, the community is one of the things that keeps you into it. But being that you go out and ride as well, and you know, we see that online and such, what keeps you riding?
Oh, God, yeah. There's something about riding. It's like the progression that you get from it, the progression, the excitement, the moving forwards. There's something about that. There's also something all throughout my life, I like throwing myself down things and hurting myself, it seems. And it was just everything balled into one. And also the aspect of the fact that it was the first thing I had experienced that was so like snowboarding. And it was that rush downhill, and as soon as I did it, I was like, where the hell have you been? It had been like 7 years since I'd done a season, and I was like, oh my God, I'm home, you know, like. And it's that along with the bond and the people, just like all of that together, yeah, banging. That's what keeps me riding. It's fun.
Given that the other ladies here, apart from Sarah, who I'll put that question to in a second, you ladies don't, the rest of you don't ride that often, shall we say. Ayla, you got on a board first time, was it last year?
No, I did go on a board at Hart Hill like years ago, and then I stopped. And then last year for Eamon's birthday, I went back on a board at LA. And did some turns, and I actually turned.
And so you're planning on getting your own setup and riding this year with us, right? I mean, that's what I'm going by. What Eamon said.
Yeah, of course, Eamon said. Yeah, Eamon keeps saying that. I mean, I did say like my New Year's resolution for that other podcast that shan't be named was going to be get on a board at least 5 times this year. I haven't quite got one yet, but we're only in March, so I've got time. And yes, Eamon is going to set me up a board. It was meant to be a Valentine's Day present, but we've not quite had that yet. But it's okay.
I like if you're going to get a preference, go for the new DW3. I'm sure he can hook you up.
Yeah, I might be able to hook me up. I'm not sure. But yes, I would. I do enjoy it. I'm just a very cautious person when it comes to sports. Even when I was skiing, I never snowboarded. Well, actually, Eamon and I first met by Eamon teaching me how to snowboard on a dry ski slope. That was how we got to know each other. I've made him teach me and spent time with him that way. But other than that, I've not done any snowboarding or anything like that. So I'm just a bit cautious, a bit nervous. Don't like going fast. Don't like not being able to stop. But I do want to give it a go, and I've said it on 2 podcasts now, so yes, I will give it a go.
That's it.
It is.
That's it. That's in stone. Yeah. Sarah, Mountainboarding's most favourite Watson. What? You've had a little time off. You had a couple of little knocks over the last bit. We'll get onto some of those in a bit, but I'm assuming that you're making full return this season.
Yeah, I threw myself off a jump the other day, and that smashed my shoulder a little bit, but it hasn't actually stopped me riding as much as it should have done.
So what is it then? What makes you go, well, I'm going to dust that off and I'm going to go out and ride again?
I think I surprise myself every time I get on a board. I surprise myself at whether I don't succeed or I do succeed. It's
surprise and equal measure.
Yeah, I might not get anywhere of a session, and other times I'll be like, fucking hell, well, that was huge, and I smashed it that time. And especially getting out with other people. I mean, it's great to ride with Mark, but when you're as good as he is and you're as mediocre as I am, then it's not a lot of fun. But like riding with other people, like the 80 Borders Halloween ride in Kingswood last year was amazing. It's the best time I've had free riding ever. Like just going off and getting lost in the woods with Joe and Northern Ash and just going, well, that looks good. Just crack and go down there. And I ended up in a holly bush, but it was amazing. It was the best fun.
Laughing.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, it's a good time every time I get on, regardless of what happens. So just keep going. It's better than working and sitting in front of the telly, isn't it?
Indeed.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, Laura, are we going to see James staying at home and doing a bit of childcare this summer and you coming out for a ride or what?
I used to ride, didn't I? He's here. He can back me up.
Oh, I see him come in the room.
I'll back you up.
She's still got a board. It's in the cupboard.
I used to help do the lessons at Court Farm. I got over all the jumps at Court Farm. Yeah. So I used to, and then I hurt my leg and I'm a baby and I didn't want to do it anymore.
That's fair enough. Do you think you'll ever will you ever set foot back on a board, do you think? And like have a little gentle roll down the hill at Bugs and that sort of thing?
When the kids are older, when the kids are old enough that they can go and
drive home.
They can stay at home alone. No. Yeah, when they're old enough, they can sort of come and they can sort of go off and do their own thing, whatever they decide. I'd do it then. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And Lee, I've never seen you on a board. I've never seen Ayla on a board either, but I know that that's happened. Now, I'm assuming it's happened multiple times and you're a secret ladies champ, but you've just got involved in the paperwork side of the ATBA.
No, well, it wasn't the event organising that stopped it, unfortunately. I won't go into too many details. I may put off some viewers.
Oh no!
But no, mine was a bad, unlucky accident that
very bad. Very bad.
Oh no! You'll have to tell us about that another time if you.
Oh, have you not heard that story?
No.
I want to hear it now. Never mind another time.
I've not heard. I need to hear this now. I've just said, Stu, what
I thought this
was common knowledge.
It's
so heavy.
I'll go into it if you want. It does. I guess it was very unlucky, but I guess some people may think it doesn't point our sport into a very good light. It was I was riding and I really did used to enjoy it. As Ayla said, I did used to get the nerves as she's experienced as well. It was a summer up at Hales. It was a very hot afternoon and who was it? It was Stu, Jack Dudley, Mark, Piers. We're all like, oh, we're just going to do a couple of runs on the baby board across. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I can do that. That's all good. Hit it up, walk up to the top of the baby board across. And I was the last one of the guys to drop in. And I'm pretty sure it was Jack Dudley walked back up and was like, oh, whatever you do, like it's running a bit quick. Don't pump the rollers. I was like, right, okay, yeah, I won't pump the rollers and I'll be fine. What did I do? Stupidly, don't listen. I pumped the rollers. Bit too much speed into one of the first berms. And there was a nice little molehill that I hit.
Oh, they were out.
Yeah, so hitting a molehill with a little bit too much speed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I felt like I was going 100 miles an hour. I was probably like poodling along. But to me, I felt like it was absolutely rapid. Just hitting the molehill, lost my balance, landed on my arse as we all do when we're riding. But I was unluckily in a perfect right angle, according to the doctor. And I was
sorry, Lee.
So winded. No, it's fine. I was so winded laying on the floor. I couldn't even talk. And I remember it was Jack and Piers coming up to me, and I was so winded, and that Piers was in such a panic he couldn't even like unstrap me from the board properly. And then it was Rachel LaRoche come up and she's like, Piers, get out of the way, like unstrapping me from the board. And I was like, I need a minute, guys. Just please, just leave me here a bit. And they were like, oh, we'll go and get, was it Ian who was first aid?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, we'll go and get him. Like, you know, stay there. He'll check you over. And I was like, okay. So he came up. He was like, you all right? I was like, oh, no. I was like, my back kind of hurts a little bit. And he was like, all right. He was like, I won't move. He was like, I'll call an ambulance. And I was like, no. I was like, no. I was like, don't do that. That's ridiculous. That's way overkill. He was like, no, it's fair. So I'm going to do it. So I was like, all right. I was thinking, crikey, this hurts. Ambulance arrives. It was the first aid response first. Gave me gas and air and paracetamol. And I'm puffing away on this gas and air. And then I said to the guy, I was like, is this going to kick anytime soon? And he was like, yeah, it will. He was like, just give it a few more goes. I was like, all right then. And then all of a sudden it made like a weird like quack noise. And I said to him, what's that? And he was like, oh, you finished the can. I was like, oh, well, that stuff don't work. get rid of that. So yeah, ambulance turns up. We were like, yeah, we're gonna put you on a stretcher, like put you in a full headlock. So I had the full like head brace thing round, and they were like, yeah, you've got a back injury. Like, we won't do that. Went to A&E. Mark was in the ambulance with me. Got there, X-rayed me. I was sitting in the A&E room with Mark, and oh my god, it was an experience. Doctor walked in, did not even introduce himself. I had the railings up on my bed. Mark was sitting next to me. Slapped his hand on the end of the railings on my bed and went, it's bad news, I'm afraid. And I was like, Mark's face just drained of colour. And I kind of looked at Mark and I was like, oh my God, what on earth does a doctor class as bad news?
Yeah.
It's like, he's got a great bedside man. He was like, yeah, it's a broken back. Oh, okay. Right, okay, thank you. So yeah, 4.5 days in hospital, flat on my back, just so they could assess the damage. But yeah, it was a wedge compression fracture of my L1. So I'm a few centimetres shorter than I was before that.
Like the comps, shall we, love?
I think
Safer.
spreadsheets.
So, yeah, no. So the doctor said that if I hadn't have been in a perfect right angle, and if I'd been like slightly hunched over, it would have just been a bruised coccyx. But because I happened to land in like a perfect right angle, the vibrations just went straight up my spine. So yeah, my L1 took all the pressure of that. So that story.
That's fucking amazing.
Got to live at Hales for 6 weeks because I couldn't be in the car long enough to drive back down to Essex. So he kicked poor old Mark out of his bed because he nominated having his bedroom. So Mark slept on the sofa, bless him, for 6 weeks, so I could sleep in his bed with my dodgy back. So yeah, that was I should have used that as my memorable.
That's definitely a memorable experience.
I had a great summer holiday.
Lee, have you ridden since then, or has that literally just put you off?
Twice I have. So I've ridden twice since then, and both of those were Ride the Hill. And one of those times was in the rain, and obviously I was really, really nervous. You know, I've just got that memory in my head, and it was the second time that we had gone, and it was raining. And I don't know whether you've ever heard of Matt and Andy's stories of Ride the Hill with their Doom on the nursery slopes. Yeah, there we go. So there was me being brave, like, no, I'm not going to let the rain stop me. I'm not going to be a fair weather rider. I can do this. And it being slippy as hell. And then there was just Matt and there was loads of them just all dicking about and overtake, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Put a fork in me, I'm done.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm quite happy watching all you guys chuck yourself down the hill, and I'll sit behind the laptop from now on. I'm happy that way.
Yeah, fair play. I think I'd been exactly the same.
So up to the top here with Di. Now, as a ex-champion, we say, still heavily involved with the sport. Stu is still heavily involved with the sport behind the scenes, and with ATB Shop, you've got the Skate Warehouse. And yeah, how comes you're not riding so much? And how comes has Stu got you on an Ebe?
Do you know what? Someone's is really boring, and it has made us think about life a little bit more, especially since lockdown. But someone's had to run the shop. So obviously Stuart goes down Friday, Saturday, Sunday, comes back. I love it when it's at Bugs because I can just nip from work. Anyone's forgotten anything, like, oh, can you grab an extra set of pads? Or someone needs an XXL helmet and we didn't pack one. So I always bring it down. The parties at these mountain board events are phenomenal. However, I think Dave Tatham summed it up last time. Pardon? Oh, sorry, Pete. I always get Pete and Dave muddled up. Pete was like, shit, I've got old. I'm like, yes, we all have. The music was still going on till like 5 o'clock in the morning. And there's us lot like, could do with some sleep now, guys. Do you want to turn it down a level? Whereas before, we all, you all sat there right now, that would have been us when we were like, I mean, these girls are, so I'll take them out the gene pool for this one. But like, we would have been up till like, whatever. I always have this memory as well. We always play these stupid games, and I'm sure you guys still do them at the mountain board events. Does anyone remember Hopper Bopper? Or was this a really early one?
That is an early one.
So I try not to swear. I lost my absolute with this game. Basically, when Stuart plays games with the lads, he turns into a lad and he forgets that I'm his wife, girlfriend, whatever I was at the time. That goes out the window. He turns really competitive. Someone had brought a space hopper along to one of the events, and it was in the evening. We were drinking. I mean, it was a bad event anyway. Steve Burbeck had lost his engagement or wedding ring in literally a pile of straw that night. So it was off the scale. Like, everyone was a nightmare.
You should have buried it down, man. He would have found it.
Yeah, literally a needle in a haystack. How he found it, I don't know. I mean, hats off to that person. But that night we invented this game called Hopper Bopper, and basically you got a space hopper and one of you held it and you ran up to someone and they were running at you as well. So Stuart and I went first, and I was like, oh, Stuart, go easy on me, we'll like laugh and it'll be really funny. Stuart, who is sat over there, you're an idiot, Stuart. Basically, he ran at me so freaking hard. It was like meeting a brick wall. I literally had gone from like that, running at Stuart, to like going backwards. And I can still hear everyone go, oh, because Stuart showed no bloody mercy. I was in a lot of pain from that event, from that evening. And then they continued playing Hopper Bopper through the night, and even went through our marquee, even when I was screaming at them to stop because it was getting out of hand. Mountain boarders do not have an off switch when it comes to the nightlife. Am I right?
You are right, but it's going to be tackled. It's going to be tackled. Somehow. But yeah, so we don't will we see you, do you reckon, on an electric board?
So I've had a go at electric boarding. If you want to see the slowest person on an electric board, that's me. I've not really had much of a go. We've got quite a decent sized garden. So when we had COVID and we couldn't go anywhere, Stuart and I were actually okay. We felt fine. We were like, COVID's actually okay. I mean, the second time I caught COVID, I was dying. Don't get me wrong. It was like the polar opposite. But the first time Stuart and I caught COVID, we made like a little dirt track in our back garden with the e-boards, and we were doing laps, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Improved my time, no doubt. But unfortunately, I'm friends with the likes of Anthony Wilson, who's like, Di's not coming out. If she can't keep up, I'm not waiting for her. I don't get to go out very often. So maybe we need a girls' e-bit night.
Yeah.
Now it's getting lighter.
Laura's like, no.
I'll watch.
Or a little trip. I was just thinking we could all go let's organise a trip after this Zoom call. Let's go snowboarding and leave the boys watching the kids and watching the shop and the dogs and everything. We'll do our own little ATBA trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Di.
Woo!
Nice. Now, James, I'm going to go to James and Laura here with this next one. Now, we have had mountain board related memory, which was part of his question. And that does seem to be a favourite one for viewers' questions or community questions. What's your favourite memory? I'm like, we've got these ones covered. We've got that sort of question covered. We need the other bit.
To ask a different question. I told him not to.
Ah,
that's why you came up with that one.
So you already know then that it's gonna. The question is, what's your favourite ever mountain board related trip? And then I'm going to come to Ayla's one next, because then there's a sort of slight tie-in to that as well.
I feel like the memory one before, the most memorable thing was the
same trip.
So, yeah.
Serbia one.
Yeah, the very first one, the very first trip to Serbia that just James and I went. And we met everyone for the first time. And
right. Nice. And so assuming Ayla, would the same answer be for you last year's French trip?
I don't know. Did it have to be like abroad, or can it just be like?
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's not even a trip. It's a memory. Oh, someone else's question. Yeah.
It says trip, but a trip can be anywhere from your house, right?
From Nina's to Bugs could be a trip.
This guy next. No, I think back when Hales was running an open, we went up there, but we went up early. So I think we went there on like a Wednesday before an event, or there was like a weekend thing. I don't think it was like a big event. It was like a small one with a lot of people. And Naomi and I just went up there early, and I think a couple of other people joined us, but we just camped up there for a long time and just chilled, hung out, just us two. And then gradually more people came, and then just got to hang out in the sunshine at Hales, because it was such a nice spot up there. I mean, I've only seen 2 Mountainboard parks, but that was a really good one when it was about. So that was good.
Beautiful.
Ayla, can I? And I'm sorry, but you've just said about Hales. Like last year at the comp, we went to the comp and we were the last ones at Bugs. So on the Monday morning, we woke up in Bugs, and we were the only ones in the field. Sarah, you remember the state of this one on the Sunday.
Didn't he fall asleep behind the tent?
Yeah, he was like, we had to put him in the shade because he was like too shiters. But actually, when you wake up in a mountain board centre just on your own and there's no one else around, it's something else. It's lush, isn't it?
Yeah, that was it. Because you just like wake up and it was like, it's just quiet and like calm. Obviously, we love the people there and the excitement and everyone and the community and everything. But like just being there and it being still and just being able to take it in is just
that Monday morning was lush.
Nice.
Yeah. And then special mention to the second French trip, the birthday one, where it was like a fever dream, where we got the overnight ferry, and it was like I don't even know, 3 hours, and I don't even know how many days we were there, but it was a really good trip, and I'm so thankful for all the people that said yes to being able to go to make it the surprise happen. That was a really good trip as well. Special mention, so thanks to those that did go.
Well, Sarah Watson, you managed to get over to France for a trip last year.
Yeah, we did both.
Would that be your favourite, or have you had done any trips in the UK? Or
no, I mean, I think it's horrible. It's horrible to hear. It's not horrible to hear. It's lovely to hear, but it's horrible to hear about Hales, because Mark and I were so close to going to that last championships, and there were 2 dates, but it was postponed because of lockdown, and so we had it booked for the first date. And then when that got cancelled, we sort of had to cancel plans. And then the second date got issued. And it's a weekend when we had Mark's kids, and we were like, no, it's not going to happen. We're not taking the kids, which is funny to think about it now, because now they just run around at Bugs and do what they want. So
it's not a weekend if they're not there.
Exactly.
We love them.
But yeah, we were so close to going to that last championships, but just pipped the post. But I think the most memorable for me in France last year. Both times that we went was absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to get back there this year. But the one for me that stands out is the time after EBIT when we went back to Bugs and we went to Cleve with you, Dan, and Sloggett, and Anne, and where did we go? We went to did we spend it was organized by Nash. Was it organized by Nash? Or no, Mark Hale.
Mark Hale, yeah.
Yeah, it was that time.
It was Cleve and Chelsea Common.
Yeah. Chelsea Common, yeah. And you invited us along. And even though we were just on our e-boards, you know, that first sort of inkling into the mountainboarding community, you know, it wasn't EBIT, it was something different from EBIT. And I think that was the first weekend that Mark went on a proper mountain board, because Dan, you lent it to him, and that for me stands out as the most memorable, because it was something more than just the EBIT event. It was an inkling into the community and just what was to come. Like it was the first of many.
I like that. I like pictures of like Dan's board, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, slyly swept between Sloggs' arse cheeks, I think.
That's the one.
It was definitely covered in muck by the time it came back.
I like that story, Sarah.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
that's a movement. That's a movement from electric into mountain boarding, which is the other way that everything's going at the moment. I like that.
And like what was funny about that weekend as well, I know Di, you were saying about Ant Wilson. Well, we were out with Ant on the electric boards out at Chelsea, and he's like, yeah, come up here, come into the woods. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'm just navigating corners, and our mate Dave managed to stack it. And then, you know, there's this quite nice wide track. And then Ant's like, yeah, there's another track down here. Mark's like, that's not a track. It's really not a track. It's like a rabbit hole. Like, but he took Mark down this little rabbit hole, and it was just route. So on an electric, you're like jumping, aren't you, to get over the routes? And it all stands out for me. And Steve, like that weekend as well. Yeah, that weekend was the most memorable.
Stuart just said never follow Anthony Bloody Wilson.
That's just I think Mark learned that very quickly that weekend.
Anthony will kill you all. It doesn't matter whether you've got electric strapped to you or it's just gravity fed, he will kill you. Don't do it.
I'm sorry to say that I'll follow that man down any track any day. It's always fun. Getting out of those sticky situations is part of the appeal.
It normally ends up with a phone call to Stuart on Monday telling him he's broken something. Repair it. Is it under warranty, do you think? No, Anthony, there's shards of metal missing. That is not a warrantable item.
Sarah Jones, many trips?
Yeah.
What's your best?
Don't know if we're allowed to talk about all the trips. So many people have already said Bugs, haven't they? I mean, like, it's amazing going there. It's absolutely amazing meeting everyone down those ways. But I actually think just like the first time of going free riding and really experiencing kind of like where mountain boarding can take you. Not that like I am not dissing it. Centers are their own beast. They're amazing. They're fun. It's like going to a skate park instead of skating down a road, isn't it? But yeah, first free ride trip. It was for like again, it was like for G-Lad's birthday, and it was just like off in the Peak District, and it was just like me, Nash, and G, and we just had like a couple of days where we were just kind of like, you know, exploring a hill and kind of like hiking up to this, like, really, we've got to carry this thing, you know, like over the shoulders, it's supposed to do this, and like, oh, I get a cold hand doing it with this one. Oh, it's pretty good. Since developed it just got a ratchet strap now, just drag it along. It's pretty fun. But that was like the first kind of like experience of like, yeah, this is actually built for mountains, and having done a lot of mountain walking and stuff like that in my time, it just made it a bit more fun.
Nice.
So yeah, and then just finding spots, and I stacked it pretty hard going fast. I got accused of being a bit of a hill bomber because I just straight lines for some reason. So yeah, stacked it pretty hard. It was quite nice, but it was the first time as well that I was wearing, because I hurt myself so badly at the comp, and I do a lot of my work is physical work. I've got to use my body, so it was the first time I actually had full body armor, and I just felt like RoboCop. I could take anything on, including a sheep, and yeah, I didn't take out a sheep, thankfully. But yeah, it was the first time that I was fully padded up, like crash shorts, everything. I was like, I am not dying doing this. And I took the hit, and it made me like wearing body armor. It was pretty good.
Nice.
But that's pretty much it. There wasn't anything that I think we maybe drank a bit of wine in a car park and then like passed out, but like nothing really exciting happened other than this whole kind of like door opening into like a greater world. So yeah, it was good.
And lastly but not least, Lee, must have been on a few trips, eh?
Yes. Yeah, very, very lucky to follow Matt round on so many. I think I've only missed one Worlds, and that was because of my back. So that was the Germany one, but I've been to all of the World comps, including the freestyle event in Moscow, the 2012 one. That was incredible. Going there, especially when you go out for a night out and you're following the Russian couple, Maria and Bora Bora, or Evgeny, as everyone else knows him, and him being like, oh yeah, we're a bit lost. Might want to stick close to me. This is a bit of a dodgy area. And I was like, hold my hand while we walk through this bit, please. Yeah, like, oh god, yeah. But oh no, so many. Yeah.
Lee, did you go to any of the like Nitro Circus stuff with Matt? Where he was trying to get it out to the masses?
No, I only went to the London shows that they done here. And the Manchester one that they did. But no, any of the ones where Matt went abroad, I didn't go with him on those ones, unfortunately.
Are you going to let us know? Did you get VIP to Nitro Circus?
Yes, yeah, I did. Got a hug from Travis Pastrana.
I was going to say, did Matt get jealous?
No, bless him. He's lovely. Considering all the fame and stuff, yeah, he was massively friendly. Yeah, Matt introduced
Matt or Travis.
Give us a hug. Like, I was just going to go for a really polite handshake. He was like, no, come on in.
Cool.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no, only the London shows, but yeah, got all the Yang Lard and the backstage. But I was like, oh yeah, I feel very fancy with this. No, yeah, been lucky enough to go on many trips, but yeah, just need to know.
Our next question, I'm firing through these because I'm looking at the time. We've been cracking on there. But our next question, we'll fire it round there. They're starting to get a little bit more specific here with some of these questions. This one comes in for Ayla from Eamon. And it can, I think I know the answer to this before I ask. He's got two questions here. The first one's a really quick one. If your partner, boyfriend, husband wasn't mountainboarding, what sport would you rather they were obsessed with?
I like that question.
That is such an interesting question.
And the second one here, like I say, that's an easy one to put out to everyone. But the second one is very specific. It says, does driving miles to riding spots and filming him ride in the cold count as quality time together?
Fair play, Eamon. Fair play.
He knows the questions to ask, doesn't he? I mean, he knows what the answer. He knows what the answer to that question is. But I guess it is quality time. I guess we'll let him have that one. Otherwise, there will be no quality time. Together. Which is fine. It gets me outside as well. So that's fine. What other sport would I want him to be obsessed with? Maybe no sport to a level of obsession. Would be good. I don't know. Sports. He's one of those people that's like annoyingly good at everything he does. So it wouldn't be a case of like what he's good at. Maybe a sport. I quite enjoy watching archery stuff, because I do archery, but then would I want him to be better than me? No, probably not.
Would you like it somewhere like in a warm, dry place, like indoors?
Like volleyball or something. That would be cool. Like we'd have to go, like, or maybe surfing, because there's a lot of like surfing competitions. I'm just thinking about me here now. What's going to be for me?
How can I get him onto a beach? Why doesn't mountainboarding exist on hot, sunny beaches? Is this why mountainboarding isn't popular? Because it's not sunny beaches or sunny snow or
kiteboarding?
Yeah, kiteboarding, that's beachy. I mean, I'm not too fussed. I do like mountains, so maybe snowboarding. Actually, I think I'd go with, because it's so attained to mountainboarding, and he is quite good at that. But yeah, maybe I'll go snowboarding, because I know he'd really enjoy that as well. And I'd get to go to the mountains still. So yeah, snowboarding, final answer, locking in.
Locking in. Lee, we'll go with you next.
Yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind, snowboard. I mean, he is already kind of obsessed with snowboarding already. Not quite as much as mountainboarding, but I think it's just because, snowy mountains aren't as easily accessible as a dirt hill or the jump.
Or the jump.
Or a big wooden frame. But yeah, no, definitely snowboarding. But I wouldn't mind, because I'm right up there with him.
What about you, Claire?
I would say snowboarding, because I really want to go snowboarding. He's too scared of the cold.
Come with us then, Claire. It's fine. Come with us.
Yeah, I'll take you snowboarding, Claire, as well.
I used to ski years ago.
That's all right. We can go do a bit of that as well if you want.
Okay, what am I doing? Just hang about here.
Yeah.
All right, it's fine.
We can meet you at the après bar.
Oh no, I don't want to go anywhere it's snowy. It's too fucking cold.
Too cold. He can't deal with the whole climate of coldness.
All I've got is that scene from what's it, Cool Runnings, where Sanka gets off the plane and he's got like 3 or 4 hoodies on and they slog it underneath.
Yeah, that's me, man.
Kiss me lucky egg.
Take the egg.
What about you, Di?
Oh, Stuart's obsessed with everything. Did you not know? I literally give him the ticket out of the country to go snowboarding like this year, twice last year, and I've stayed at home to look after the dogs and the shop. It's my turn. I think us girls are going snowboarding next year, right? Are we up for this?
Yes.
Yes, Di.
I'm organising it.
No.
Di tours. Basically, Stuart's likes to kite surf. Di goes along. She walks the dog on the beach. Stuart likes to go snowboarding. Di stays at home, walks the dog. Can you see a pattern coming on it? I can snowboard. I'm not as good as him unless we're going off piste. Then it's bye Stuart. Like a bit of off piste.
And you, Laura?
I don't know. He'd probably want me to say snowboarding.
Lawn bowls.
Yeah. I quite like watching curling, actually.
Hey, that's all right, man, curling. I can get into that.
Yeah. He used to do a bit of like gymnastics and trampolining as well, so I'd quite enjoy watching that.
Yeah. And what about you?
On?
Yeah, but he always pulls it up the back like a G-string for some reason. What about you, Sarah Jonesy? We'll go.
Ooh, me.
Yeah.
What I would want him to be obsessed with. Something
if he was going to be Mr. UK something else, what would he be Mr. UK of?
Skateboarding all day. He's already obsessed with it. He's like mental obsessed with it. If it's boarding, he's on it. Except for surfing, he's not done surfing yet, I don't think. But yeah, skateboard. Let's make him UK skateboarding. That's him.
To be fair,
he lives in the wrong place for surfing, really, doesn't he? If he comes down yonder, down this end, we can get him obsessed with that.
Hey mate,
you're on your own there. You're on
We
your
are just
own.
moving into a caravan.
I'll see.
Come visit.
See, where I don't like cold, Dan don't like wet.
Yeah. I mean, there's some pretty kinky stuff, but getting dressed in rubber and pissing on myself to stay warm is not one of them.
That's the best part of the day.
Yeah, but I don't like doing it when I'm in the sea. I'm all right doing all that on land. Sarah Watson, I've come to you last because we're going to go to your question next.
Excellent.
So, what is if Mark was, or I suppose, and you were into something else, what would it be?
I know Mark's always said that skateboarding would be the alternative, but actually I'd like to see some like extreme building going on. You know, if we could make up our own sport, let's do some extreme building. He whipped up a toilet yesterday at Bugs, and within like 5 hours. So I'm pretty sure he could get his hands on something a bit bigger than that.
I was going to say, what's the extreme part? Is it like mounted 20 foot up in the air?
It's your time scales, I reckon. Your time scales that you've got to build, and your tools. You're like, what? Oh, what is it? Scrap heap challenge, like something like that. Yeah.
I like the sound of that. Well, while we're here with you, Sarah, I am going to grab. He sent us in a video here.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
In fact, you've actually got two videos here.
Because he thought
the first one that I'm going to play is not actually from Mark, but you will recognise the face. Let's turn the volume up there. And this one's specifically for you, Sarah, and we expect an answer here.
Question for Sarah.
Hello. Who do you love most, me or Tyler?
Do you know what? I told Tyler that we were recording later tonight, and he said, "Can I watch it live?" And I was like, "No, it'll come out, and then you can watch it after that." They ain't watching it now.
Why are you actually going to divulge which one's better?
The thing is, they've both got their own qualities.
Can we? Hang on, I'm sure she said she wants a definite answer. Can we rewind and watch it again just to confirm that? Because I'm pretty sure my little pal asked for an answer.
It's different situations though. If I'm in a car, I'd rather drive on a long journey with Kira than Tyler, because Tyler counts down the miles and the minutes by the minute.
Oh, no.
Yeah. 48 minutes remaining, Sarah. 47 minutes remaining.
What I'm going to do is introduce Tyler to kilometers per hour, so there's more of them.
I'm like, I work in junctions, like miles to my next junction. Like, whereas Kira, I don't know, Kira can be a bit pathetic sometimes. Which sounds awful. That sounds really awful. No. All I'm trying to do is instill some independence in that girl.
Strong, independent woman.
On her dad. No, you can do that yourself. You don't need to get him to do it for you. Come on, you're a big girl now.
No, I get that.
I can't.
I get that.
No, you can't make me choose.
Well, we'll give you his other question that comes in. Then we won't make you choose. That's horrible. But you'd choose Tyler, right? Anyway, let's go on to Mark's question.
Hi guys. So, message and question for Sarah. First off, I just want to say how proud I am for how much she's progressed over the past year. She's absolutely smashing it in my eyes. Even after all the stupid things, I convinced her that are a good idea, like dropping in a roll in at our local skate park, and that went horrendously. And the kicker rail jump thing that I made her do, I've always said with so not to listen to any advice I give anymore. That's my advice. So as for the questions, what are your personal aims for the year? What are we going to see from you? What are we going to be aiming towards? And secondly, if you were forced to do one or the other, would you choose border cross at Bugs or the small freestyle line, like the white jump, orange jump, and then one of the big ones again? White. Love you.
Jesus.
Aw.
He's
There you
an
go.
odd
It was a long one
story,
for you
isn't
there.
he?
Tyler.
Not choosing. What was he asked? Personal aims. I did make a little pact with Nina over the weekend that we'd both do border cross.
Whoa,
She wanted to get on border cross this year. And I was like,
Sarah, so this year Nina said that she wants to do border cross and she wants to teach me how to ride.
Okay.
A little team together.
Nice.
That's a girl crew going, isn't it? We'll take this pact.
And if I can then learn border cross might be a preference. But then I've enjoyed the jumps recently. So could I jump the big jump line? I don't know. The big freestyle, I don't know. I was looking at them the other day, thinking they might be attainable, but I don't know. I don't know until I get out there. That's like what I said about earlier with riding. Like every day is a school day. Every day is a surprise. I might surprise myself.
Hi.
We'll just have to see what the season brings.
Well, I have one last question, and I'm absolutely busting for a piss. So I am gonna. I'm sitting here. I can't think about.
Get your wetsuit on.
Yeah, I should do, shouldn't I? But the last question to come in is from the only person who hasn't asked one so far. Well, actually, we haven't had one off Stu, but the one from Matt Bryn's other half, or not from his other half, but from Lee's other half, Matt Bryn, comes in. It's a bit of a mouthful, this, so bear with me.
Oh, God.
Even in written format, he waffles. As a combo event organizer and wife and girlfriend of a high performance athlete, aka a OWAGAPAA, if you will, how do you manage your relationship with other OWAGAPAA, Ayla, especially when Eamon and I are competing in finals together? When a close call inevitably occurs sometime in the future, what will you do?
Is he expecting us to fight?
Yeah,
I think so.
Be that.
Or like having like a spreadsheet off. I'm not sure what he's after.
My formula's better than your formula.
Oh yeah, no, but I've got bulk text in mine and conditional formatting.
I don't know sheets. You'll win that every day. I can make them add up.
No, definitely Matt's other half in that respect, I must say. I've forgotten what the first part of his question was.
I don't even know what the question was.
There's so much waffle in there.
How do you manage your relationship with Ayla when they're competing against each other? I'm wondering if he's hinting that there should be some competition for you ladies, like with a title involved.
Well, like head wag.
Head wag.
That's it, yeah. Or it's what is it, first lady? That's the discussion that's been going on behind the scenes that Dan was trying to avoid. No, neither of us solid. We don't. Yeah.
No, it's just
no need for a first.
Fight it out. We're like, yeah.
Well, listen, ladies. Look, we are knocking on for 2 hours here at the minute. 10 minutes away from the 2 hour mark. I have only one question, and it is simply a yes or no answer for most of you, I think. And I'm not after the details. I just hope that most
you're not
of
after
you
the
aren't...
details of a yes or no answer.
Yeah. I just hope that it's all a resounding yes. Now, Claire, I'm coming to you first, just for the live instant reaction here. Did Sloggs use mountainboarding to woo you?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Oh, so he didn't need mountainboarding to woo you?
No.
No, well,
Mountainboarding wasn't a thing for us.
fair enough. Di, did Stu
Skateboarding.
use mountainboarding to woo you?
This is actually really cringe because yeah, he did.
Get in, Stu.
All my friends, because Stu's a little bit older than me. I don't know if you'd noticed. I think look wise now we've caught up with each other, but basically I was 17, very nearly 18, and Stu was a few years older than me, and like he was super cool. He had like this 4-wheel drive, and everyone was like, oh. All my friends were knocking around in courses, and there's Stuart with this like truck, this Hilux sexy truck. Yeah, he needed it for mountainboarding to like pull other people out of ditches and to put ramps in place and stuff like that. And like all my other friends were like going to pubs and going out clubbing, and yeah, I could do that, but like I like spending my weekends with Anthony Wilson and Stuart getting covered in mud, It was good fun, and yeah, there is something so exciting about this mountainboard scene, that when you're like really, really young, like, and you bounce, because you fall over and you don't break because you're old, it's a really hip thing, and you'd come off, after your weekend and tell everyone about all these fun stories. I mean, we could spend all night telling stories, White Air, the stuff that went out at White Air. This was us trying to get mountainboarding into the masses. People hurt themselves at these events, do you know what I mean? And there's really good stories from things like this. So yeah, Stuart's cringing over that. Love you, darling. He's the best of the house. But yeah, I literally love Stuart, and if he didn't do mountainboarding, maybe I would have picked him. Is that quite shallow? I wasn't thinking the car.
No, mountainboarding's cool as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who needs who's mountainboarder needs marrying.
Literally.
What about you, Lee? Did Matt use mountainboarding to woo you? Did he he couldn't have been, surely he wouldn't have been 10 times world champion then, or Nitro Circus back then?
No, it wasn't he didn't use it, his friend did. it was our, like, we had like a mutual best friend at the time, but mine and Matt's paths had just never actually crossed. And then this friend Dave that we've got decided that he thought we would be a good match. Me and Matt met out clubbing, but Matt's first experience in a nightclub, he had never been clubbing before the night that he met me. And our friend Dave was like, oh, so what do you think of Matt? What do you think of Matt? And you're like, he's a sponsored athlete, right? And it worked. I was like, oh. Yeah, it worked. But yeah, it wasn't.
And there's a wedding coming.
That's it. What about you, Laura? Did James use his mountainboard charm on you?
Yeah. I just thought he was cool, and now I know better.
I'm kind of a big deal,
Yeah.
Amazing. What about you? Well, I suppose, Sarah, you and Mark preceded you finding mountainboarding, so I suppose he didn't really have a chance to use it on you, but I'm assuming it's renewed your interest in each other since mountainboarding together.
Yeah, I still feel like he's always trying to show off, though. So, even with the purchase of the electric boards, it was still, look at me, look what I can do, as it is to this day. So don't give him too much attention, because he just laps it up.
I think they all do, don't they? They're all the same.
What about you, Sarah? Did Alex's skills draw you in?
Alex?
I was about to say the same thing.
Who's Alex?
What's that?
I don't know why I said that. Well, we're going Nash.
It's gonna shoot you now.
It's like
Everyone
we
knows
do
it's your name.
Dan would cut and edit that. It looks slick as fuck.
Ash.
So I already said that we kind of like met through UK mountainboarding, but I asked him for a date. But then our first date was mountainboarding, being that he's a coach. So yeah, he totally did. He gave me some tips, and then he gave me some tips.
Nice.
So,
what about you, Ayla? Does I mean, I'm assuming Eamon constantly is charming you with his skills on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically it was the snowboarding thing that got us together, and he actually didn't compete when we met. The first time he competed was last year, to my knowledge. Anyone correct me? And then obviously he went and won that one, didn't he? So that was quite good. But yeah, before that he wasn't working with mountainboarding, but now he's like got the bug, and yeah, it's quite cool. It's quite fun. I get how it feels now. I understand it. But yeah, we'll see this year. Maybe me and Lee will be fisticuffing.
Fisticuffing, love it. Well, that from my point of view, ladies, that is it. But I don't know if surely we can't be doing an 170 set. So
no, there's definitely no 10 set.
What is there anything you?
No. It would be a 670 set, and that's not happening.
Yeah. So anything more to add, or can I go for a wee?
I'm good. I just want to say thank you to all of you and to my lovely wife, because I've had an awesome time tonight. It's been quite good. Really enjoying myself.
Yeah,
thank you for including me. I've had a great time as well.
There was no need to. I'm going to put this out there before I sign it all out as such. But there was a bit of nerves going on in the backroom chat there before this happened, and I pray that you feel now that there was no nerves needed, because we just like to have a giggle, and tell a few stories, of which you have indulged us with stories about yourselves and your partners, and yeah,
it's mountainboarding stories that we haven't heard before, or that we have heard, but from a different perspective.
Yeah,
so it's been really good. I really enjoyed myself. Thanks.
But yeah, thank you all of you for joining us and taking time out of your lives to come and sit on Zoom with us and feel the confidence enough to to do this. It really is something special. It's something that the community loves, and the community love you ladies for supporting in the ways that you do and shredding as hard as you do when you are on boards, whether that be past, present or future. The community loves you. Thank you very much. This has been The Dirt, and these are the ladies of mountainboarding. We've got Di Kirk up in the top, Lee, Laura, Sarah Watson, Ayla, and Jonesy down the bottom. And not forgetting at the top there, because she told me off, almost forgetting somebody earlier. Claire, love you, babe.
Love you, darling.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Dad.
What about me?
Fuck you. See you on the next episode. Right, I'm going to cut and run, ladies, before I burst. I'll see you all later.
When is this going out, so I can let everyone know?
It'll be a few weeks. I've got a few in the lineup. That Sloggs with me and recorded a load this week to last for sort of the next 3 or 4 weeks. So
let me know, and I'll start teasing it out. Keep tagging ATB Shop, and I'll tease anything you guys have got. I'll keep teasing it out. Okay.
Lush. Speak to you soon.
Nice to see you all.
Bye.
Way aye, man. That was dead canny as out that like. Cheers for tuning out to listen. Now, before you gan yem, don't forget, if you want to keep getting doing with the Dorty Dort fun, like and subscribe. get amongst it. Shybairn's getting out.